Rebel Author Podcast, where we talk about books, business, and occasionally bad words. Hello Rebels, and welcome to the Black Herron episode 13. No intro from me this time as we didn't pick a book because Rachel is going away. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the episode and let's get on with the chat.
Well, hello, Sasha Black.
Hello, darling.
Welcome home.
Thanks. Yeah, today is day one back at the office. So.
Oh, how did it go? Because we were talking at the end of your day.
Today, oh my God.
Yeah.
Today was just back-to-back podcasts and meetings. Like, I think I've had 40 minutes not on Zoom.
It's horrible. I'm sorry.
Not even joking. No, it was a lot. It was like, I did not plan it this way. Like, it was a lot. Like, I'm not going to do that again. It's a good job I'm not in burnout anymore.
That's right, because Thursdays are your day. No, wait, is today your Thursday? Yes, it must be. Yeah. You're not in burnout anymore. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so funny story. Apparently, when you rest, you feel better.
Which is a universal truth that I hate.
It's horrific. I'm so upset. Like, I am so unbelievably upset by this reality that, like, I don't even know if I can bring myself to talk about it.
No, we have to talk about it. We absolutely have to talk about it. So what was your rest of choice? Because have you ever read the book Rest by Alex Virginia Pang? It
is on my Audible app. I have already downloaded it. Yes.
It's very good. And let me spoil it for you. Basically, rest is not just sitting around doing nothing. Rest is doing other things that please you.
Okay. So yes, my usual rest of choice is a really aggressive workout.
You're sick. You're a sick individual.
I know. Actually, I do enjoy puking at the end of my workout. So there is that.
Sounds so beautiful.
Isn't it, for number one competition? I bet it's really a shocking revelation for you.
I could have guessed.
I do think working out is usually my rest of choice, and I get to go back to the gym for the first time tomorrow. I'm so freaking excited. I can't even begin. But before I went on holiday, I was so utterly wrecked that the very first week of our trip, I didn't really speak to Chloe or Atlas. I just lay on the sun lounger and read. I was practically catatonic. It actually isn't funny, and I have actually learnt my lesson, sort of. In that, I cannot allow myself to get back to that position. It was very bad.
Tell me how you, I just realized the microphone wasn't now in the right place. Tell me how you, number one, I mean, I've heard you talk about this on your show a little bit, but how you realized it and how you made the decision to fix it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like somebody like you and me, we can push for so long and really deny what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so, because I can be in a lot of pain. Like, one of the threads of competition is that we actually enjoy pain. So I actually like the burn. That's why I push myself in the gym. Yeah. It's not because like I'm morbidly like a masochist. I mean, I am a little bit, but also I just enjoy that level of hard work and pain. Like, it's just, that is,
and people without high competition, like you and I, yours is higher than mine, much higher, but I'm still in the top 10. People without that don't understand that is actually part of it, that it gives us energy.
Yeah.
Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. Exactly. But the problem with that is that you can very rapidly get to the point of like being in a catatonic zombie state, you know? And it's very sudden. It really comes out of the blue, that thing. And so how did I realize? I realized because I kept getting injured. I am a very, generally speaking, touch wood, healthy person. I don't typically pick up colds and coughs. I don't typically get severe injuries. Obviously, we all pick up the odd thing here and there, but generally speaking, so far in my life, I've been pretty healthy. And the last month, I would say, before we went away, I could barely make the gym because every time I went, I got injured. I'd feel sick the next day. I was unable to speak to Chloe in the evening. Like we would just sit in silence on the sofa because we were just both fucked. And yeah, I don't know. So like those were alarm bells. And it was like, I know there's a problem when I don't get up and I'm not like nuclear levels of motivation. Like there's something wrong if I don't like ping my eyes open, I'm like, right, world domination. And I was getting up and considering just sitting on the sofa. Like that is a massive alarm bell to me that there's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
for me, there's when I think of doing, when I wake up and I think of doing something, and if my brain goes, no, or fuck, that's an alarm bell. Yeah.
yes. So those were kind of the major alarm bells for me. And the way that I fixed it is I was a very good girl and I went and basically competitively rested because I was like, I read 13 and a half books on holiday.
Oh, yeah. That's so good. I thought I was good with 8 while I was sick last month, but no, that's amazing.
I read 23 last month, 23 books. Like when I tell you I was completely and utter, like tell me you're in burnout without telling me and you're in burnout, you know, like I read 23 books last month. Like it was a coping mechanism, but like it worked because I've come back and now I'm like, yeah.
How will you move any of that going forward into your life, or will you? Or are you just going to go back and are you more cycling hardcore rest? So, there's no such thing as balance. I don't believe in it. I really don't.
I agree. I agree. I don't believe there is. I mean, 2 things. The first thing is that so we do a lot of trips, which are not the same as holidays.
Not at all.
And that was a lesson learned that we left it way too long before having a holiday. So, and the thing is that I really love trips. I get a lot of pennies from them, but they are actually not rejuvenating in the way that clearly I need that type of rest. So that the lesson there is that like at the most once every 18 months, but really we need to do that once a year. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I will very effectively and efficiently find the line of which I can push myself to the absolute extreme before I then have to rest really hard.
But understanding that is huge. Because you said that it was happening because you were injuring yourself. But I'm behind in your podcast as usual. But also I feel like you start to notice when you're injuring your work.
Yes,
as well.
And my brain.
Yeah.
Like when I start to struggle to find words in conversations, or like when I just have no conversation of an evening, like there's a problem, like there's an issue there. And like I didn't feel present anymore. I just felt like I was just, I don't know, not present. I was not present in my body or brain, and that's a problem because like I like being present and grounded in my body. The holiday was fantastic also because I got not 1 but 2 gastric bugs and lost half a stone. So like I'm gonna take the positive win.
No, that's terrible. Oh, that's the worst when you're on vacation.
Doesn't matter though, because I came back like full of beans anyway. So obviously like it didn't wasn't
Empty
required.
Of beans, but full of beans.
Yeah. But
you poor thing. Did anybody else get it? Or
yes,
just you?
Atlas got it once. There was an incident that I might tell you about.
Not for even this impolite company.
Even for this podcast, I think. And then Chloe and I both got sick at the end. I didn't eat for 3 days. So but it doesn't matter because I'm just so fucking full of beans and positivity now I'm back. Like I'm so much just chomping for life now, and I was not in that position before I went. So
I'm so
how are you? Tell me.
Glad. I'm so glad. I'm freshly back from a little wee retreat myself. So do you ever do that? You have a kid, so it's really hard to do, but do you ever go away for 2 or 3 nights to rest
Not by
that way?
myself, but I have done it twice with friends. I went to one of my friends, like mobile static home type things. And then I went to Dubrovnik on a writing retreat with a couple of friends, which was amazing. That was a little while ago now, but yeah.
I wonder if that would be good for you though, sometimes when you are getting towards that edge, when you can feel yourself getting towards that edge. If you can't get 2 weeks away, you could get 3 days away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It is tricky with the childcare.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely like, that's the part of my life that is easy and I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I actually just take him with us. Like, I wanted to go to France, I wanted to take Chloe to Paris. So I just took him with us. We all went on the Eurostar. I dragged him around, made him do like 25,000 steps a day. He sees all the stuff, sees the world, then he becomes cultured. Like, that's just, that child is so fucking privileged. He has been to more countries than he is old. Like that. Yeah, like that kid has been everywhere. He just gets dragged. Because like when I had the child, I was like, I am not going to tailor my life to him. He will fit into my life and therefore he will come to all of the countries that I want to go to. So yeah, he's like seasoned pro at it now.
Oh, that's the way my parents were too. They dragged us around. That's
but like how much more cultured are you? And like,
quite
exactly. Yeah. So you had a trip?
I had a little trip to the seaside, a little inexpensive, lovely holiday where I was actually going to work for once. You know how usually I go away and just read and journal. And this time I had to work and I forgot my power cord. So, and I was in a 1-horse town. Like there was not a computer store. There was a gift shop that closed that weekend forever. Like they had a barbecue out front as she was, closing. There was one cafe. So there were no cords. There would not have been an Apple power cord within a 4-hour drive, maybe 5-hour drive. So it was great. So I couldn't work. I was like, all right, well, I guess I will send an email to my editor and get an extension. And she was lovely and beautiful about that. And I hate doing that, but I'll just mention business-wise, that when you do ask for an extension from a person you are privately hiring, I always do the same thing, which is like, is there wiggle room in your calendar? And if there isn't, don't worry about it. Tell me and I'll get it done. Because I would get it done. And then I would go home and work 18 hours a day. But she has lots of wiggle room. So thank God. So I got my little extension on that. That's the New Zealand memoir, which I'm gung-ho rolling forward, turning into a book. Unfortunately, I have found out that it wasn't a book. And I always find that out. I always find that my first draft when I'm talking about memoir and collections of essays, like I've been writing these essays. I wrote these essays about moving to New Zealand, like the before, the during, and the finding of home. And then when I go to look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, these are just essays. There's no through line. There's no character arc. There's no story structure. So I have to add all that. So I'm doing, there's quite a bit of writing, which is unfortunate. First drafting that's happening.
Fucking shocking. Really?
I know.
So many shocks today.
I hate it. But it's also really fun. And I'm going great guns on it. And I will make my new deadline. And then after that, it's on, my friend. We are kickstarting. We are doing all the things. I have to do a delicate balance because this book was also a Patreon book. So the Patreons have to get the book and not feel obliged to partake in the Kickstarter in order to get something. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to tier the Kickstarter to make sure that happens. Or maybe I'll just, I don't know. I'll figure that out. Because that's one of their perks is when a book is completed, they get the book. But then I'll kickstart it and then I'll put it on my own Shopify page. And I think that might be where I start my Shopify experience. Although I want to get all my books up over there. I've had the URL reserved for the Shopify store for a year because I just had to renew it. I mean, I started setting it up a year ago and never did anything with it.
It is painful that I understand that like intimately.
Have you set yours up yet? It's not live or it's not being talked about.
I have not set it up. Just like
even though we know it is the smartest, best think, oh, you know what? It's your damn fault. You were talking to Morgana, right?
Yeah.
You were, and she blew my mind and I had not thought of it. I read the book. I read her freaking book on, don't know what's the book called.
To stop making others rich.
Stop making others rich. Yeah. And I read it. It was great, but I missed this whole point that when we sell our books via social media or newsletter, those are warm or cold audiences. And when we sell our books like on Facebook ads, trying to get them to the Amazon store, we're paying for clicks that may not, won't convert. Like what, 10%, 20% on a good day will convert. But when you are selling Amazon sales, Facebook ad sales to your site, those are cold people. You are getting cold people into your ecosystem over to the store. And even if they don't click all the way through, then you might have more information about them, et cetera. And that blew my mind that is an opportunity for a brand new audience. So like what? I would ask myself, what am I waiting for? But I just haven't had time.
Do you have any store live?
No.
Okay, so this is my resistance
from your site.
I have
right?
a store, yeah. And for a while I did paperbacks as well, and then I stopped doing paperbacks because I think I had to renew the postage. And to be honest, I'd only done it really so I could do a print signing for a nonfiction. So yeah, now it's just digital. So I'm just being lazy, but also because I haven't had any brain space or capacity and haven't had any free time, it's just not been a priority. But as I'm now shifting and trying to be more commercial, like that will be something that I need to decide about, especially because I keep getting readers asking for signed copies of Ruby stuff, but like I don't even know how to do that because that's not going to work on Shopify. Like Shopify will link with Book Vault and it will be like copies, but it won't be signed copies. And so, yeah, I don't know. I have to think about
do the book, the book plate stickers and mail them.
So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do is maybe I will do, but then, yeah, then it's such a low value item. And then if you at the moment I'm WooCommerce and then I'd have to pay for the Royal Mail plugin. So I don't know. I need to come at it with like, okay, what's my premium item? What's my middle tier item? And what's my low value item? So that I have some kind of strategy and like it makes good financial sense to do it and spend the time to set it up more so than just the digital store that I've already got, because it's functional. It's not great. It's not pretty, but it works. And then I get some sales through it,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is like, one of my friends is like, you need a CEO park. Like, so you work on the business. And so like, I'm trying to put those things like on this whiteboard where I'm like, yes, this is a thing I need to work on the business, but like, I have to prioritize them in some kind of order.
I have a new grand scheme and it could end very, very badly. We're talking like it could end in divorce. However, like
wow, that is an opening gambit.
Lala has now been unemployed for more than a year. And I'm losing my shit. And I didn't lose my shit for a year. And I was just a great supportive wife because we've gone through this before. Tech industry is like this. She's been unemployed for more than a year in the past. But now that we have the house and now that like all of the things, she has to get a job and she's been trying. Like she sends out everything. It doesn't hear anything back. More people in her sector just got laid off. So hundreds of thousands in the States. I think it was like 100,000 got laid off in the last couple of weeks in her sector. So I understand that it's hard, but here we go. I told her when we come back from our trip, because we go to the States next week, we go till the end of August. When we come back, she's going to be working in my business.
Oh,
I like how you didn't even see that coming.
Wow.
So I could see a couple of things happening here. It goes brilliantly. Like she comes back to me in week 2 and says, I got a job at the zoo shoveling manure. So you'll be very happy. I'll be out of the house. Like it's gonna work one way or the other, or she'll fire me as her wife because I fired her as my partner. But I was talking to some friends the other day about this, and my friend Moira was like, you just have to give her something, like, and then step out. Don't be in it, because I cannot. I mean, I micromanage her in every single way possible, and it's our one source of conflict that I'm always trying to control things and make things this way. And she's like, don't control me. So if I give her Shopify and just say, look, I want the box sets. I want to do, what Morgana was talking about. I just handle it. I don't want to learn it. Do it all. You learn it from the ground up.
Why don't you hire her out to other authors to set it up? I'd pay for that shit.
So that's exactly where my friends and my entrepreneurial brain went. But she does not want to have her own business. She doesn't want to work for other people that way, like on that kind of scheme. However,
even temporarily,
she might find that she loves it. Yeah, that's true.
Right? Just temporarily to just get some money in, or just be, working whilst she continues to apply for tech industry stuff.
Yeah. And it is in her wheelhouse, because what she does is front of web page. She's a front end web developer. She makes pages that work, that click, that look good. So this is what you would actually be doing. So yes, right? I think it's obvious, and maybe she'll just be so good at it that I'll say, my friend X wants this.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, just and suddenly I've tricked her into having a business. It's gonna be so healthy.
So healthy, so transparent. Like,
thank God she doesn't listen to my podcast ever.
Yeah, safe space.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be thinking of things for her to do that will increase my income, because that's how we support. What's that? Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna show her some ad stuff. I've got the Mark Dawson course, and she could run through that. And I'm not sure how ads are working nowadays, because I've been so far. I always have a low level spend running on Fast Draft Your Memoir and Life in Stitches. But other than that, I don't ever have anything. I haven't had anything going in a while. How about you?
Wow. Yeah, no, I spend like about 500 a month. So not stacks, but like a reasonable.
Yeah, I spend like 150, so very low.
Yeah. I mean, it's anything under 4 figures, I think is just.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it works, and it's, I basically chuck them up, and then I just make sure that they're making profit. And as long as they're making, the dashboard never tells me they're making profit, but the income, the sales dashboard does, and I track it daily. I'm like, what did I spend? What did I make? And if it hit, I have certain thresholds, and if it doesn't reach those thresholds, I go and like fiddle. And
is that on Facebook or Amazon ads?
No, Amazon, because it's all the Ruby stuff. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Because Facebook, they'll all be homophobic hate.
That's true. Oh my gosh, Life in Stitches. Those ads have been running for so long, and I never look at the comments on them. But whenever I do, it's a knitting memoir. It's full of grandmas saying, "I loved this sweet little book." It's the opposite of homophobic. But I did, Life in Stitches was the book. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but stop me if I've said it on the air, because I don't want to repeat myself that way. But Life in Stitches came out. It was a traditionally published book. So, I was getting emails randomly every once in a while. And I got this email from somebody who said, I wish I could burn your book. I don't burn books, but it's on my coffee table. And in the morning, I'm going to take it to the library rummage sale. And she goes, because you tricked me. You talk about, dating men in the beginning, and then suddenly you're marrying your wife, and you're talking about knitting for that. And, I didn't sign up for this homosexual agenda. And I ignored it. And then the next day she emailed me back and said, your stupid book was just sitting on the coffee table and ready to leave my house. And then I felt like I had to finish it. And she said, and you changed my mind about gay people. I've never known one before. And you're a lovely person. And if you're a lovely person, then other gay people are lovely people. And I just never knew that. And I, in my head, I'm thinking like, ma'am, gay people.
Yeah.
1 to 2 out of 10, every 10 people is going to be gay. They're not telling you because you're a dick. But it was it was the email that you want to get. And I'm saying it badly because the second email, she really worded beautifully and said, thank you for opening my eyes. Thank you for, allowing me this. And she'd written a bad review on Amazon, and she took it down. And it was like, I changed a heart, so
that's why we write.
Yeah.
Like that
Exactly.
that's like a real sliding doors moment as well, because she could have put that down and not picked it back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's one of those moments that like literally changes the course of somebody's reality. And
Exactly.
like how powerful that you did that.
I will never forget. That. So that's the book on Facebook that most of the grandmas say, lovely book. And I don't actually know if there's comments on there who say, this is a homosexual trick agenda. In which case I would say, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just writing about my life as seen through the sweaters. And I was dating men for a while. And then I was dating women. It's not your business when I decided to add a gender. Yeah, add a gender. It was really a switch. Once I went one way, I never went back. Could go back, but I know.
Yeah, choose not to.
If you are bisexual / pansexual, it's just easier. It's just easier to avoid the one. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Oh, I wonder how many people are like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Not our audience. Our audience is with us. They are with us through this whole thing. So let's see. What other business stuff? You were going to say something.
Yeah. No. Well, so I was going to say, so no work for you in August.
Mostly no work. I have, so I use Pacemaker, which I know you have your spreadsheet, but I use Pacemaker, and I have looked ahead to the end of my deadline. And if I were to try to work a little bit every day, and I'm talking a little bit, like half an hour, 45 minutes, it would really move me forward. And also I'm thinking about playing with it, because when we travel, as in a trip to see family and stuff, it is not a vacation. It's Rachel's idea of hell. And it broke me last year. It absolutely broke me. I'm still not recovered from that trip, and how many people we saw and everything that we did. And I'm thinking, like, if I make myself go to a cafe and put in my earbuds and concentrate on work for an hour a day, I know the number keeps going up, will it regulate my nervous system? Honestly, I'm thinking about giving that a shot. But also I can rejigger and not work, because I'm also historically quite bad at working while we're traveling. I'm not a person who can like, I'm at the airport for 6 hours, I'm going to get so much done. I don't. I get a lot of like looking at people and eating candy and buying books at the bookstore. And that's what I enjoy doing. Yeah.
And that is why I travel so much, because I'm completely incapable of resting in my own house.
Yeah.
It's I find it very difficult to sit down even of an evening and not do, because there is no detachment. I work at home, and that's why I love traveling. And I, even my mom was like, "Are you gonna work whilst you're away?" And I was like, and like in my head I was like, yeah, of course. And then of course I did not. I did no such thing whatsoever. I had one email that I had to respond to because it had a deadline, but that was it. That was lit. And I was so fucking resentful because I was full on holiday mode. I was like, I don't want to fucking reply to this email. I should have been very grateful because of what the email was, but it's not the point. So like I have also learned that I'm capable of resting, just not in my own house.
Not in your own house, and you're capable of it when you give it to yourself as a challenge. Like this is my job. I'm going to do it the best that anybody's ever rested in the whole history of humanity. I'm going to do it. Yeah,
I really did try and rest as hard as humanly possible, and lo and behold, it really worked. So now I'm just like, well, I can just really efficiently rest by just like maxing out the rest in a short period of time.
I think there's a flaw in there. I don't know where it is, but I feel that might be a flawed premise. Can you please ask your coach about that?
I just think I'm doing it to the max of my strengths. That's all I'm saying.
I love
One day
it.
I will learn my lesson, but that day is not today.
Yeah. So work in terms of August will be hopefully getting through more of the memoir revision, but not anything too big. And I've opened the classes for September to start the 90-day courses. So that's always fun and exciting to see who's coming in and who I'm going to be working with. And I feel like I had some other like major work revelation while I was gone, because I tend to do that. What was it? I can't remember what it was. Yeah. So what about you?
Well, it
Catch
was
me up on where
announced.
you are in terms of like
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. So, well, the first thing is, whilst I was away, there was an email sent out to their newsletter. So I guess it, and it had my name in it. So I guess I'm allowed to say it. But the Girl Games series got sold to Podium. So I will have audio. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am so fucking excited because
That is so exciting.
yeah. I am excited. I did not expect it to happen, so I was like dead chuffed when that did happen. So it's coming to audio.
With Podium, how do you get to help choose the narrator?
So yeah, there was like a big document, and I have to finish a second document tomorrow. But I actually have no preferences because I listen to audio where everybody sounds like a chipmunk, and so I don't and the vast majority of people that I listen to are American, and the books are written in British English, so it doesn't make sense to me to have American narrators, and therefore I know even fewer British ones.
Right.
So it's up to them. I have,
and that's their job. That's their expertise.
Exactly. I've given them like what the characters sound like in my head, and then therefore they'll have to find someone that matches. So yeah,
exciting. Do we have a rough date of when that might be expected? Does it take a year for them, or 6 months, or what does it take? I'm
not sure, but I'm definitely over the deadline. But they gave me like 5 days to respond whilst I was on holiday, so I was like,
they will live.
So I think they want to move quite quickly, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think the first one at least will be done fairly quickly, but I'm not sure, because they were like, no, we like, can you send us this because we want to do this? So I don't know, we'll see.
And did they buy all three?
They did. And like, so they didn't. I just offered this because I thought it would be cool, but they are going to do both the bonus novella and epilogue. So they're wrapping it all in. So there'll be everything, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is this your first audio?
Yeah. In fiction. Yes.
In fiction. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm mega excited. And I'm also excited because Chloe has more or less decided that she wants to read like 90% in audio now, like just because of her dyslexia and stuff. And so she read book 1, but she wants to read with her ears book 2 and 3, which is great because I didn't know if I could give her that. So yeah, I'm really pleased like for that as well. So.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Congratulations.
Yeah. And then in terms of where I'm at, I would say like 2 major things for August only. The first one is, so I stumbled to a halt in book 3 at 43,000 words because I burned way too low. And I used the wrong trope. And that was the whole issue with like GPT and stuff. I don't know if you remember me talking about that with the outline, and I hadn't done the brain work to do the outline. So I am starting again on Monday, and I need to write that whole book this month, like really like shorter than that if possible. But I already have 43,000 words. So I am starting again, but I should be able to salvage a good portion of that so that it shouldn't be an issue to get that done this month. And then of course I'm gonna start maximizing the content that I've already got and just like expanding some of the presentations and then like recording like masterclasses and stuff to start creating a commercial business with all the assets I already have. Yay. So yeah, that's like my 2 things for August.
No biggie. I'm going to write an entire book and really maximize my business. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong. I may end up out of the country again. Like, I literally like I'm the worst human because I don't even know if I can say that. I don't think I can even say this on air. Actually, I can't say this on air. Never mind. I may end up out of the country and I'm not wild about that. But I may lose some time. So if I lose some time, I'm going to have to pivot again and figure it out. And then, of course, I've got to write a keynote for Vegas. So that's in the back of my brain as well. I'm actually freaking out about that. I actually don't know what to do about that.
May I make a suggestion about that one? Go back to the 500 words a day, the 15 minutes in the morning, first thing before you do anything, and start scratching out bullshit for the keynote, and it will aggregate like overnight, and suddenly you'll have too much stuff, and then it'll just be a revision job.
I don't know what to talk about.
Is this a good time to pivot in? Did you read Smart Brevity?
Yes.
Let's pivot into that, because
Excellent.
So Smart Brevity, can't remember who it's by, but there's only one book called that. They can look it up. Its whole premise is like, decide. It's so funny. Decide first what you want to say, and then say that. I feel like that whole book could be useful for the presentation, but it's definitely not the way I work. I write a bunch of crap in order to find out what I want to say and to find out what I believe and know.
Well, this is the problem. Like, I often do that. And I think the thing that I'm struggling with is that a keynote is not a class.
Right. Keynote is inspirational.
Yeah. And
it is
that's
biographical, autobiographical. Okay, tell me what, because I find nothing more exciting than sitting in a large writers' conference over dinner or drinks or whatever it is, and then the person goes up to give the keynote. Like, I love that it makes my input so happy to listen to people. And tell me what you love about that. What do you get from those people who are up there? What do you look forward to?
When I listen to a keynote.
Mm-hmm. What lights you up? Is it about hearing about how they won the game, number one competition, or is it their humor? Is it their self-deprecation? Is it their grandiosity? Is it their their language choice? What would be the best keynote speaker that you could hear? What would they do?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have no idea. I don't know how many keynote speakers I have necessarily listened to. Like, I must have, because I've gone to shitloads of conferences. So I think that I have not registered that that's what I'm listening to. I mean, the speeches that I love the most are like the underdog stories, I think.
Yes.
And the stories of like going from that pit of like the worst place you can be in to like the success of the story. But oh God,
that is what this particular audience wants. This audience it's a lot of writers who are writing and publishing, but it's also, honestly, these conferences normally are the majority people who haven't quite gotten there yet. They haven't quite finished their book. They haven't quite revised. They haven't published yet, but they're going to. And that is what they want to hear from you. They want to hear every struggle, every failure. They want details about every failure you've ever had. And then you end up with quitting your job, Ruby, what you're doing now. Like that's where you land. And that's what we want. I have goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just, it's really hard because I am very confident teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I can teach. I am a good teacher.
Yep.
I have never given a speech in this way where it's more, I don't know, like it's less, I don't know.
There's no teaching. There should be no teaching. This is inspirational and it's autobiographical. And here's another thing that could help. How do you know, once you know how many minutes you have?
45,
then this would be my advice. You figure out how fast you talk, which is way faster than most people. So you know that. And then you do the math and you know how many words you can write. So maybe it's 23,000 words or whatever it is, or 11,000 words or something horrible like that. And then decrease that by 10%. Chop off 10% of those words, because for you and me, people, we extemporaneously expand.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And you get a laugh. So you go a little bit harder in it. So then you won't go over.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you can start filling out, because 45 is a long 45 is a long time, and you can say a lot in there.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
using
I think the reality
yeah.
of it is starting to hit me now, and I'm like, oh fuck, like I actually need to really do something about this now, because this is a reality that is incredibly, it's approaching real quick.
When is it? October?
November.
Oh, you've got tons of time. You could start doing this on November 1st and pull it off.
No. I like, yeah, it's, oh God. Yeah. Anyway, so that's there's an alarm bell in the back of my head. Yeah. It's just like, wow. Like
where's your strategic again? I think I ask this every time. Yeah. So don't worry about it. Your strategic, it's got the alarm bells going, and then the klaxons will just like explode when it is the last minute and you have to really go. Because it knows how many minutes you have exactly to figure the speech
out. Such a little shit, isn't it? It's such a little shit.
It's
Why
so
does it
good
work
though.
Like that?
It's so good. All right, tell me what else you thought about smart brevity.
I highlighted some stuff. It was a little bit corporate for me. Like I almost felt like they had such good advice. I wish they kind of talked about it more as writing in general, rather than like newsletters for big corporate organizations. But I loved the principles. I like highlighted the 4, like why it's important. And the like the bottom line, like I want to start using that. Like I loved that, the bottom line thing, but like putting it up top and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. And so just some of the stylistic things I think I'd edged towards in my newsletter anyway over the last year, but I hadn't given it that formal structure. And I don't think that I'm going to do everything that they say, but some of the stuff that I really liked were the things where at the top of their newsletter they'd be like, this is going to take you 4.5 minutes to read, and I was like, fuck, I love that. Like I might put that in my newsletter, like or each section, maybe like this is a 1-minute read, this is a, I don't know. So yeah, those things I really liked, and I was like, oh yeah, like my strategic likes that. So yeah, it was just some things about making the point that you're trying to make really salient. The thing that I didn't like so much is that it almost felt like they were cutting all of the personality out.
Yes.
And that isn't how I write. I write with asides and stories and swear words. And if I were to implement their system fully, I would lose all of my voice. So yeah, I liked it. I loved the ethos, and I loved some of the structure suggestions that they were giving, but I didn't like the voice implications, I don't think.
That's exactly the way I felt. I think for writers who are selling their writing, our subscribers and our readers sign up because they like our voice, because they want to be immersed in our voice, and they don't want our corporate speak, here's how to buy my books, or here's the next thing. But I'm interested because I had started it eons ago, but then I finished it last night. And yesterday I had written an email, and it's just in my drafts, and it'll go out today. But I'm going to go back in and implement some of these things and see how I think it feels and reads. So I'm going to do the strong headline, which I'm really bad at. I'm pretty loose and wobbly with my titles, but I do really like that first line, and then the why it matters. I might not use the word why it matters. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll just experiment with using why it matters, and then doing more bullet points. But the thing is, like, I do like to tell that little story, that little interstitial twist, and leap into the pool and take the readers with me. And those are the emails that people respond to. They say, I empathize, I resonate, I laughed. And this is what I think, there are emails that are long and storyful, that I love getting and that I save to read. I just, right before we started recording, I saw that Charlie Jane Anders had sent an email. I don't read her books, but I do read her book on writing, which is one of the best books ever written, I think, on writing. It's called Never Say You Won't Survive, by Charlie Jane Anders. It came out last year. It is brilliant. But when she sends out an email newsletter, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to I'm going to roll myself up in that later. When I have a minute, I'm just going to read every word. And I think that was what I didn't like about the book is, I mean, I really liked the book and it's very useful for me to read. And it also took like, I think it was like it said at the bottom on my Kindle, said it's like a 54-minute read or something like that. It's a very short book. But what it said is that your readers won't read your work. Your readers won't read your emails. Your readers won't read, they're going to spend 26 seconds and that's all you have. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. There are a lot, I don't know, 60% of my email newsletter, maybe people skim. I have a really good open rate. I think I have like 62% open rate or something like that. It's very, 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 very high. And a lot of them will skim it and delete it or not open it at all. But there are a lot of people who open my emails and read every word. And they save them like I saved Charlie Jane Anders for when they have a minute and they're not at work and they're going to read it on the bus and read every word. So we have to remember as writers that readers come to us for our voice. So
yes,
that's the difference.
With a 62% open rate, your newsletter is not broken.
Exactly. I mean, what is normal? Like 20 or 23% or something like that. It's and that would be good. That would be fine. Mine is huge. And I don't want to break that. I don't want to go all bullet points all the time. And I will say that it really grated on me that two things. It grated on me that they were demonstrating that through the whole book. There would be a bullet of a short paragraph, and then there'd be a short paragraph, non-bulleted, and then there'd be a bullet short paragraph. And I just thought it feels like cheating to me. And number two, it's working because I'm skimming it quickly and getting all the information. Like, you're keeping me on the page by doing this. God damn it. You know?
Yeah. And also knowing how long the section was, like they would tell you in advance how long the chapter was. And I was like, for fuck's sake, well, I can just read for another 4 minutes or another, 2 minutes or whatever.
Did they do that with every chapter?
Every single fucking chapter.
Do you know that I did not notice that? I read them talking about doing that in their newsletters, but I didn't notice that the chapters had that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I noticed that because I noticed that.
Wow.
I had a thought, instead of why it matters, what about based on your theme for this year, how it's connected?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. Because another thing I liked about the book is it reminded me again that it's always about the opener and not about me. It is what, and me telling a story, I'm good at telling stories, but it is because of them. Like, how am I helping? How am I connecting? How do they want to be there? I really like that. How do you think it will influence your newsletter writing, if at all?
It's tricky because I use bullets and I write in short paragraph, and I've started using intentionally hitting enter to play with the white space. So I've been doing that anyway. I definitely think that where there are sections where I may have waffled, I will try and keep them under 200 words, because that was I sort of came out thinking, oh yeah, okay, there are often things that really I could be better at keeping succinct. And I love this is how many minutes it's going to take you to read. So I do feel like I may do that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do notice that on websites. A lot of websites will have that, and it's really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if it says
really like
17 minutes, I know it'll take me 6, but do I have 6? I don't really. But if it says it'll take 4, it'll take me 30 seconds. And yeah, exactly. So I really liked that. And I might implement that. And also I need to go back and look at the highlights, because I mean, I'll be honest, I read so many books whilst I was away, and so many books last month that I just cookie monstered everything. And I need to kind of go back and actually think about what I took from them and stuff like that. The other one I read, which I would be very surprised if you haven't read, was You Are a Badass with Money. I love that book. I need to reread it. What did you think about that?
Oh my God, I had so many thoughts. I read that almost directly after reading Existential Kink.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, what if my money blocker is that I have been keeping myself below where I want to earn, because if I hit the goal of what I want to earn, I'll lose all my drive and motivation. And so like, because I like pain and I like striving, maybe subconsciously I was like restricting the amount that I could earn, because then I'd always have to keep driving. And I was like that felt like an epiphany. And here's the crazy thing. So like last month I had my best sales month ever.
Congratulations.
And it wasn't even a launch month, which is the crazy fucking thing. Yeah. And
is this mostly Ruby or is it other stuff too?
Yeah, it's Ruby is doing well.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And like she's not going to be earning me suddenly, you know, like 6 figures or anything, but she is a foundation.
Yeah.
Of the future. And so that happened. And then I won £1,000 on my premium bonds. And like I was just like, oh my God, like, and all these things kept happening. And I was like, because I had kind of embraced the fact that I think I was doing that. And I had sort of set all these limiters. And then the minute that I realized that I was doing that, I was like, oh, I don't need to do that. Like, actually, I can just set a higher goal. And so I
exactly. And then you can have the pain and the drive for hitting the higher goal. It is hilarious that you're saying this, because I've done the exact same thing. And in my journal, like that open page over here is my new goal, my new monthly goal, which is roughly 25% more than it has been. Because I don't want to like double it or something like that. But just to see. Because I have had the exact same revelation that and listeners, you know, Sasha and I have talked about this, that we always make exactly what we need and not more.
Yeah. Right. And I am so done with that. That is like bullshit old me. Like, no, I and here's the other thing, right? I was like, so the other blocker that I was like, is that obviously like there's some family stuff. And I was like, am I keeping myself, in air quotes, poor? I'm not poor, but you know what I mean. Am I keeping myself poor because that is the antithesis to who they are and what they are? And therefore, has my brain decided that the only way I can be better than them is by being the opposite of them? And then I was like, wouldn't it be better to beat them at their own fucking game? So I was like, I'm going to step onto that field and like earn big money and still be better, like, because that feels like then I win at the same game. So like that was another bit of a like money blocker revelation to me as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I feel like I didn't have as many work revelations as I expected whilst I was away, because actually I just seriously, I turned my brain off.
You unhooked your brain. You just hung it on the fence. It can rest there.
Yeah, but those revelations felt big to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm really ready and I'm hungry now. And then all these things, just keep happening. And I've set like a daily amount that I have to hit, and if I don't hit that, I will take action. Like, so that is now and even if that action is like post 2 more TikToks or set up a new ad or apply for a book club, like I have to take some kind of action if I don't hit that money amount every single day. So that feels really positive to me.
That is the perfect response, because what you're doing is you are doing something that is within your control. You can't always do something to like, you know, make more money, but you can always take action that might make more money. Instead of sitting around hoping. So I think we've talked about Denise Duffield Thomas before.
Yes.
She does she could be really annoying to me. All of these people who talk about like manifesting more can be really irksome to me if they don't acknowledge that there is actual systemic inequality in so many different ways in the world. Once they acknowledge it, that's fine. And once I remember to acknowledge that, it's fine. But what Denise always talks about manifesting on her podcast is, because that word just is, it's like other words to me, just like, I just want to close up or punch somebody. But manifest, as she always points out, just means to make real. And what we have in this life that we live is the ability just to go, I'd like to make some more money. How will I do that? What actions can I take to do that? And I feel like we are so lucky in that. When I worked 911 and I was only a 911 worker, just working at the fire station, I couldn't say, well, I did say, because I was an entrepreneur always, but like, how can I make more money at 911? I cannot. I can work, more overtime. That's it. But in this job, we just get to go, oh, what product can I make? What book can I write? What service can I offer? To make that real. I also did the what I need to make per day. And it's hilarious that we're on the exact same page. And that's one of the reasons for the Shopify store, because I feel like I can affect it more from there, but I also need to play with ads. I need to play with covers. Do you know who is a graphic designer, an graphic artist? Is my wife.
Oh my God.
She doesn't even know what's going to hit her. Honestly,
she
does
no idea what is coming.
Not, because the thing is, she doesn't know how to make a book cover, but I know how to make a book cover, and I know what looks good. Well, actually, I don't know what looks good. I know what looks okay, and she knows what looks good, and she's superb at genre stuff. So, we're talking new covers. We're talking playing with KU in and out, because I have my assistant, and he does so much for me, and I love Edward, but I can't afford to pay him to do these hundreds of hours of things that I need to get, or I want to get done to make more money. And, the budget just isn't there. So I have a limitless budget in the woman who is sleeping down the hall.
There's so many like processes that she could manage as well, like translations, for example. Like there are so many people making so much fucking money in Germany right now, and like actually, even if you had DeepL do the translation and then you paid 2 lots of editors, that is a whole task and finish project that she could like execute on and then run the ads for you. Like I mean, like I'm kind of jealous. Like I would love. But also, like, it is a terrifying prospect to have to work with my wife in the company, because I mean,
fine prospect to like do the dishes with Lala, because like I will try to take over. She just constant. The thing is, that's really great about her is that she never lets me get away with shit. She'll stop in her tracks and she'll say, "Are you actually telling me how to rinse this dish? Do you actually think you have a better way?" And in my brain, I'm like, okay, but I do. And then my better, higher brain goes, oh, it doesn't actually matter. Her way does work. The dish gets clean. It's not as beautiful and systematized as mine is, but back the fuck up. So that is going to be my number one concern. And in like 1 month, in 1 month, we will just be getting back from our trip. So you won't know yet, but in 2 months, it'll either be amazing or, I'll be sleeping.
That is going to be, can I suggest that you maybe like you can suggest go everything to Ellie and like just get some, like just into like, with Lala's strengths maybe, and your strengths, and like, and just be like, how do I, I don't know. That's what I would do if it was me.
I think
that's like, hey, fix everything.
I've been meaning to reach out to her. I said this last time, and I didn't. So I will do that. I'll book a seshy sesh with Ellie.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so by the time we talk again, I will have gotten closer to finishing the revision on the New Zealand book, which is right now called Unstuck. Do you like that? Unstuck, Leaving America in Search of Happiness, or something like that.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And then it keeps changing. But what about you?
Please, the gods who will listen have finished book 3 and a mini masterclass.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I hope so. Unless I get dragged out of the country.
Yeah. What is it? What does a mini masterclass look like to you? Or like sub an hour, 30 minutes?
Sub 3, I would say, because a lot of my classes are 2. A lot of my classes are 2. So I think it.
Oh, so a mini masterclass is bigger because it's a masterclass, but it's.
A mini masterclass is smaller. A masterclass is bigger.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Basically, I've got to go and look at what I've got. None of my classes are less. None of the slide decks that I have are less than an hour. Some of them are more. And I would like to make premium, mid, and mini. So I want a range of options.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So I want at least one thing done by the end of the month. That's what I want.
Don't forget the editing always takes longer than we think it will.
Yeah.
Stupid. It's easy to record these things. The editing is what gets in our way. Okay. So those are great, fantastic goals. Oh, I can't wait to hear how we both go.
I hope you have an amazing trip.
Oh, thank you. And welcome home to
Thank
everything. Welcome
you.
back to your office. All right. Bye, my love.
Bye.
Don't forget to tune in and subscribe on your podcatcher. And when you have a moment, please leave a review.